This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 25th day of May in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. In response to recent statements by the mayor of Georgetown about the central government withholding resources from the municipality, President Irfan Ali this afternoon said he will not allow the government to be blamed for the mismanagement of the city by the Georgetown City Council. City Mayor Ubraj Narain has complained that the government has been withholding much-needed financial resources from the council, leaving it in a cash-strapped position. But in a statement this afternoon, President Ali fired back at the mayor and said while the government is committed to the development and maintenance of the nation's capital, the government will not be taking any blame for the city's financial problems.
This government cares tremendously about our city. But we will not allow ourselves to be used as a scapegoat in the city not fulfilling its responsibility and mandate, or in the city converting everything into political opportunism or a political football.
According to the president, the government is committed to ensuring the full restoration of City Hall and has already budgeted the finances for that project. But he noted that the City Council needs to take on its responsibilities and fulfill them.
Whilst the city is not fulfilling its responsibility in the maintenance of the environment, in the cleaning of drainage, in the maintenance of infrastructure, the central government has embarked on a massive program to clean the city, to clean the roadways, to establish roundabouts, to maintain roadways, to maintain drainage. We've invested in pumps to ensure, as far as possible, we improve the drainage situation in the city to prevent flooding. These are necessary investments because as a government, the city reflects who we are as a country too.
The president said the mismanagement of the city has been an issue for several years and that problem cannot be passed over to the government. With a number of communities faced with the piling up of garbage and blocked drains and unkempt carpets, the president said his government has started to engage communities to get the work done themselves and the government will assist and give contracts to those communities.
We're engaging the communities to get community workers in cleaning up various wards in the city. We're working on a macro plan for South Georgetown to ensure we improve the drainage there, to prevent flooding, raising of the roads. Very soon, our engineering design team will be in that community to consult and to find a solution that is permanent.
President Ali also said the City Council has failed over the years to present audited financial statements in keeping with the law. He said the last audited statements were presented in 2004.
And central government has a responsibility to ensure that resources are spent for what they are budgeted for, to ensure that there is accountability and transparency in the way we spend resources.
2 months ago, President Ali met with the mayor and his deputy and made a commitment that the government will be making an advance payment of taxes to City Hall to the tune of $100 million. The money is still to be paid over to the City Council, and the city mayor has also complained that the government has not released the full subvention for the municipality. Mayor Narain has also accused the government of locking the council out of its plans to carry out maintenance and other works here in Georgetown. More news coming up in just a moment.
here again, the Ministry of Health's drive-through COVID-19 vaccination at the Guyana National Stadium on Wednesday, May 26, Independence Day, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You've got to be 18 years and older. First and second doses will be available. A valid form of ID is required, and all COVID-19 protocols must be observed. What a great day to be vaccinated! Independence Day. See you there.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
At Sash Financial, we create strategies for strengthening business and personal finances while helping our clients to build sustainable wealth. Our financial and business consultancy services are uniquely tailored to ensure every client receives quality packages and optimal results. Our financial services include financial reporting and analysis, financial status assessment, internal audits, bookkeeping and records management, financial planning advice, tax returns. Our business advisory services are related to business plans, business startups, operational improvement, business management, document preparation, procedures development, efficient marketing. Call or WhatsApp us today for your free consultation on telephone number 592-665-6045. Sash Financial, strengthening businesses, building wealth.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL?
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
A 17-year-old student from the Covent Garden Secondary School who was preparing for the CXC examinations is among the new coronavirus-related deaths in the country. The Ministry of Health today reported that 7 new deaths have been recorded, with the oldest being 78 years old and the youngest being the 17-year-old. News source understands that a teenager had underlying health conditions. The school has been doing contact tracing since it became aware of the student's diagnosis. Guyana's death toll from COVID-19 currently stands at 368. The total deaths recorded so far in this month now stands at 69, making this month of May the deadliest month for the pandemic. And with 85 new cases recorded in the past 24 hours, the month of May has also become the month with the most infections recorded since the first case was recorded in March of last year. During his COVID-19 update today, the Minister of Health pleaded with citizens to get vaccinated.
I would want to say it's safety, because if all of us are vaccinated, then it means that we'll all be safe from the virus. So I think people should really think seriously about it. and go out and get their vaccines, because the only way we can all become protected is if each one of us get vaccinated. If there are some of us that are vaccinated and others that are unvaccinated, then we are still going to be vulnerable to COVID-19. And not only COVID-19, but COVID-19 mutates. So if you have a section of the population that are vulnerable, the virus can mutate, become even a more deadly strain, and then that presents a whole new challenge for us. So I would urge everyone that if you get the opportunity, you're near a vaccination center, or find a vaccination center nearest to you, and get vaccinated as early as possible.
The health minister said a number of vaccination sites have been set up across the country and people need to become vaccinated. On Independence Day, which is tomorrow, the health ministry will be hosting a drive-through vaccination initiative at the National Stadium once again. The Guyana police force, which is in charge of immigration matters, has denied that there is a ban on Haitian nationals arriving in the country. The police force has denied as fake news a report which surfaced in another section of the press claiming that a ban had been instituted on the admission of Haitians to the country. In its statement, the police force said it has not been directed by any authority to ban Haitians from entering Guyana. The force also said the police commissioner has also not been instructed to impose any such ban. The police commissioner is the chief immigration officer. The release came almost 2 hours after 17 Haitians who were denied entry into the country in the past 2 days were sent on a flight back to Barbados. The police force said the 17 were among 61 Haitian passengers who arrived during that period. Those who were refused entry had failed to satisfy immigration requirements, according to the police. The force did not provide details on the specific issues that resulted in the 17 Haitians being denied entry. However, those who were denied entry were kept at the airport in immigration custody until they were sent back to Barbados this afternoon. Last November, the government came under heavy criticism after it rounded up and detained 26 Haitian nationals and made moves to deport them after they were already granted entry into the country. The Haitians were eventually released from custody, and the High Court later ruled that their detention was illegal. Haitians have been coming to Guyana over the years to travel to neighboring Brazil and Suriname to take up jobs. UNICEF has expressed concern over the Caribbean Examination Council's decision to maintain the upcoming Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate and Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination for students as currently designed. UNICEF wants CXC and the Ministers of Education in the region to adjust the content and administration of the exams in line with recommendations provided by the Caribbean Union of Teachers to ensure that the region's school students are not further disadvantaged. UNICEF said it wants the education ministers of CARICOM to request CXC to adjust CSEC and CAPE exams for this year. Among the recommendations made by the Caribbean Union of Teachers is for Paper 1 to only test rationalized topics. According to the United Nations body UNICEF, no change has been made to the multiple choice Paper 1, which will still cover the entire syllabus, and no clear structure was shared as to how those students who meet deferral requirements and choose to defer will be supported to sit the exams at a later date next year. As the Guyana Police Force continues its investigations into the alleged Ponzi scheme operator Yuri Garcia Dominguez and his wife Atika Ishmael, the police force has now issued a notice urging persons who may have conducted transaction with the couple to come forward. Specifically, the force is requesting marketers and agents of the scheme to visit the CID headquarters with their documents of receiving and handing over money to Yuri and his wife. The husband and wife are currently faced with more than 80 charges. They have started to refund some of the money to the investors. It was the Attorney General who triggered a multi-agency investigation in August last year after he said he received hundreds of complaints about persons investing in the company owned by the couple. Those persons reportedly complained that they were expecting hefty returns on their financial investment, but got nothing in return. The Attorney General has described the entire operation as a Ponzi scheme. He said the business operated by the couple was never registered to conduct any financial transactions in Guyana. Under the Anti-Money Laundering and Financing of Terrorism Act, it is required for all investors to provide the source of funds and ensure that the financial activities and the money laundering risk associated with the customer are properly recorded. The couple reportedly attempted to register their platform with the Securities Council just after the change of government last year. However, when they were told of the various requirements they will have to meet, including details of their funds and provision of financial records, the company never continued that process. A Guyana, Georgian Mines Commission prosecutor who was nabbed by the police during a sting operation for allegedly accepting a bribe found himself before a city magistrate facing charges today. The GGMC prosecutor Sherwin Crandon was charged for a corrupt transaction by an agent. The court was told that on the 19th of May at Sita's Bar in Kitty, Crandon corruptly obtained $300,000 from Viveka Singh as an inducement for dropping illegal mining charges that Singh was facing in the courts. The GGMC prosecutor was responsible for the prosecution of the matter. The alleged victim, Viveka Singh, had complained to the police that the prosecutor was demanding the sum of money from him so that the illegal mining charges be dropped. The police set up a sting operation and moved in and arrested the GGMC prosecutor moments after he received the money. At the time of his arrest, Crandon claimed that the money was not for the dropping of any criminal matter, but rather it was a loan he obtained from the miner that he was prosecuting. The matter will return to the courtroom in the new month.
I'm Joseph Harmon, leader of the opposition, and I'm here to encourage all Guyanese to take the COVID-19 vaccine. In the coming days, we will be rolling out a few activities as part of our increased efforts to help us fight against this deadly virus. Join us as we come together to protect ourselves and our loved ones. None of us are protected unless all of us are protected. Get vaccinated today, protect you, and protect your loved ones.
My name is Ashley. I not too long received my first dosage of the Sputnik vaccine. It was a very simple process. The staff were very informative, and I encourage you all to come out and take your vaccine. If you're unsure, there's so many people to ask. The information is free online as well, so please do come out.
Across the region tonight, rocked by 933 new cases and 38 deaths from COVID-19 since the start of this month, Haiti has issued a state of health emergency throughout the country. The measures will run for 8 days. The Ministry of Public Health in Haiti is also reporting the presence of the contagious English and Brazilian variants of the virus in the country. The government said that President Jovenel Moise, during an extraordinary virtual council of ministers, issued the decree, which was later published in the official journal, declaring the state of health emergency throughout the country. According to the decree, wearing a face mask is now compulsory in all places frequented by the population, including public transport. It also calls for the compulsory installation of hand-washing points in all public and private buildings. It said a curfew will be in effect from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. According to the latest figures, Haiti has recorded 14,037 confirmed cases of COVID-19 and 292 deaths since the start of the pandemic in March of last year. 16 people, including at least 2 children, have been killed in a rebel attack in Peru, the country's defense minister has confirmed. The far-left Shining Path guerrilla group says it was behind the attack. It left pamphlets at the scene ordering people not to vote in the upcoming presidential election. The Maoist rebel group lost much of its power after the arrest of its leader in 1992, but remnants are still active in Peru's coca-producing region. The government says the Shining Path group has since turned into a criminal group engaged in drug trafficking. One official said that they found bodies strewn across the floor of 2 bars on opposite banks of a small river. And finally tonight, international news. Several European airlines have said that they will not fly over Belarus days after a dissident journalist was arrested on a flight diverted to Minsk. Ukraine and Poland are stopping all flights to and from the country, while the UK is preventing Belarusian airlines from entering its airspace. Western countries accuse Belarus of hijacking the Ryan airplane carrying the journalist. The Greece-Lithuanian flight was rerouted after a supposed bomb threat. Belarusian authorities on Monday released video of the journalist that appears to have been recorded under duress. He faces charges related to his reporting of last August's disputed election and subsequent crackdown on mass opposition protests, and has said he fears a death penalty after being placed on a terrorism list. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, wishing you a pleasant rest of the day and a happy independence.